There's never a dull day in Call of Duty esports, and last night we had even more drama drop on the TL. Sib and Kenny reacting to CDL analyst Burrito. If you know who Burrito is, if you know what I'm talking about, but if not, I'm going to explain who he is in a second. It was very interesting to me for two reasons. One, drama is obviously always fun. I'm not really one to typically talk about drama on this channel or like make dedicated videos, but the second thing is, I feel like I understand a bit of like, I feel like I've been in Burrito's shoes. I am in Burrito's shoes, which is why I kind of wanted to talk about this. So first things first, who the hell is this guy if you don't know what I'm talking about? He's a YouTuber, right? He makes Call of Duty content and he breaks down gameplay from CDL matches, talking about what he thinks the right play is, wrong play is, and like what the pros are doing in game and whether or not that's what they should be doing, things like that. But the drama comes around here where he is not an ex-pro, right? Like he's not someone who's played professionally. He is just a fan who has watched a lot of COD, played a lot of COD, that feels like he understands what he's doing. Honestly, just had the guts to start a YouTube channel, sort of, you know, taking down what pros are doing in game and roasting them if they're making the wrong plays, praising them if they're making the right plays. And this inevitably is going to get you roasted by the pros themselves when you say something they truly don't agree with, where I guess in this situation, it finally caught up to him. Sib and Kenny watching his gameplay, talking about this is the guy who analyzes us. And this is definitely not a new thing, right? In sports, in other esports, people who have never played the game professionally always get their opinion invalidated by not only players, but by their fellow fans because they never played the game at the highest level. It happens in everything. I mean, this clip from Denzel Washington that Kenny retweeted is just part of it, right? This is just part of the thing. If you've never played pro, they don't think you can have an opinion. And Burrito dropped this whole thing on the Twitter timeline, which I don't expect you to read, but this part here, right? He mentions Jose Mourinho, he mentions Greg Popovich, Bill Belichick, some of the best coaches that never played professionally in their given sport. These people made a name for themselves, right? They worked their way up from the very, very bottom and got to the point now where they are world championship, best of the best managers, coaches in their respective sports. And I think the big thing we have that's a difference between COD and between something like soccer or the NFL or the NBA is COD is still so early in its life cycle in comparison to those, right? They've been playing basketball for over 100 years. They've been playing soccer for God knows how long people have been playing soccer for, right? Like these sports have been around for so long in comparison to COD, which has been around for like 20 years, that I bet you in the early days, if you weren't a pro player, people are like, who are you to talk about this? Now, also we have the internet nowadays, which is exponentially, you know, was going to make it crazier, give everyone an opinion. If you have an opinion about something, you can post it on the internet. And if you don't like someone's opinion, you could post about it on the internet. Like that definitely, you know, makes this even crazier than it already would be if this was pre-internet. And I don't watch all of Burrito's YouTubes, right? Like I don't know if every single one of his videos he's cooking or if he's saying shit that's absolutely crazy, right? I've watched some of his stuff and honestly, I thought it was pretty good. Me, myself, as a fan who never played at the highest level, I thought some of the things he was saying was pretty good. And even here on this tweet, and I've seen this clip from Zuma on a stream, gassing up Burrito saying he knew what he was talking about when he was talking about Atlanta FaZe struggling at certain points this season. When you're posting online, you're inevitably going to be wrong eventually, right? Like it's just going to happen. And in this case, he says something that I guess was wrong or was perceived as wrong from pro players, and they reacted to it on stream, and then it spirals, right? It starts to spiral. You got a tweet here, 2,000 likes, 130,000 views. Kenny's tweets got 300,000 views. His tweets got 150,000 views. I mean, even this one's got 3K. This is what happens when you post online. You're inevitably going to go viral for one reason or another, or what maybe a good reason or a bad reason. But one of the bigger reasons I wanted to talk about this, like I said, is I feel like I understand where Burrito is in this situation. As somebody like myself, who's not an ex-pro, right? Nobody knew who I was until I started posting on YouTube. People automatically discredit you. It happens to me, even as someone who doesn't even like talk about like really analyzing gameplay. I mean, just ranking players on a tier list. They're like, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, right? Like, if you're not an ex-pro, you are immediately discredited, invalidated by a lot of the community, and especially your fellow fans in Call of Duty. And Ben J is like a prime example of this. Now, people have different gripes with Ben, right? We're talking strictly his COD takes from this perspective. We're not talking about anything else that you may agree or disagree with or like or don't like that he does. But when it comes to strictly COD takes, like things on the flank, stuff like that, anything Ben says is immediately, the chat is immediately spamming. Len doesn't know what he's talking about. This guy's an idiot. Get this guy off the show, things like that. And sometimes he's right. Like sometimes Ben is saying things that the other co-hosts on his show agree with, but the chat is on his ass. People are on his ass on Twitter because he never played professionally and they think his opinion just doesn't matter, doesn't hold weight. And to me, that's just not right? Like, obviously, if it's a pro's word versus someone who never played professionally, and we're talking about how to play the game, I'm gonna go with the pro, right? Like if I say you should do this and Kenny says no, you should do that, believe Kenny, bro. Like don't believe me, right? I'm gonna say that first and foremost. You go with what the pro player says. I think 99% of the time when it comes to talking about how to play the game at the highest level. But that doesn't mean that I can't be right too. It doesn't mean Burrito can't say the right things. It doesn't mean Benjay can't see the right things. It doesn't mean you at home who's watching this video can't understand COD at a high level. And JP, the Optic coach, is one of the prime examples of this. He never played pro, right? I'm guessing when JP first started, a lot of people were like, who is this guy? I bet you he doesn't know what he's talking about. And I don't know, maybe if JP ever sees this, he can let me know what it was like starting out in his career at, in competitive COD, trying to work his way up as an analyst, as a coach. Nowadays, he's a world champion. He's one of the most probably beloved faces in the scene, right? I mean, he's on Optic, right? The fans, the Green Wall love him, and he clearly knows what he's talking about. But if you took JP right now and you transferred his mind into somebody else's body that's just a fan, they would get roasted for saying things because they're not a pro and nobody knows who they are and things like that. And that I feel like is a slight problem in our scene that is it just hinders its growth when we're so one-track mind of like, if you never played pro, you can't talk about COD at a high level. That's just not how it works. It's not how it works in sports that have been around for hundreds of years, and one day we'll get there in COD. We're just not there yet. I feel like this video has been all over the place. It's honestly just like a rant at this point, but I thought the drama was funny, and I definitely thought it was something that I felt a bit more passionate about than some of the other things we have drama on in the scene. Like if someone like Burrito is watching this, or if you're someone who makes content about competitive COD that maybe you don't have a lot of viewers right now, maybe you have a lot of viewers, I really don't know, right? I'm sure there's plenty of people that make COD content that I've never personally heard of. Just keep doing it, bro. Just keep doing it. You're going to have things where people are going to roast you. I've had Arcides shit talking me on Twitter. I've had Vickle say things about me on stream. Like it's going to happen, right? It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter if you talk about gameplay or not. Pros are going to disagree with you at some point, but pros are also going to agree with you. I've had pros tell me they love the content. I've had pros tell me they watch the content. They think it's really good, but also pros are going to not like you, right? It's just going to happen. It's just kind of how it goes when you're willing to put yourself out there in a community like this, especially one like COD, where, I mean, we know what COD was like growing up. Everyone knows what MW2 lobbies were like back in the day. COD players are ruthless, right? They say crazy shit and they don't care, and that's what it's like when you post online as well. And also, they always say any publicity is good publicity. Me personally, I'd rather not have the negative stuff out there, so I try not to say anything crazy. I don't think my opinions are ever that crazy, but I try to keep it tame, even if there is something I think might be a little controversial. This is inevitably going to help Burrito in the long term. Now a lot of people know who he is. Are they going to go watch his content and subscribe to him? Maybe not, because they saw Kenny and Sib roasting him. They're going to say what the fuck, but they know who he is, and one day they're going to see one of his videos and they're going to tune in and they're going to say, I wonder if this guy got any better at what he was talking about. And this is just going to be a long-term a good thing for him. And this is just what happens in COD, bro. Tactical Rab, one of the most, probably the biggest face in the scene that didn't come from pro play. This guy makes videos, and sometimes people are like, oh, all he does is capitalize off drama to make money. All he loves when Optic are playing bad, or he milks Optic for content, things like that. Like, if you post, you're going to have people say negative things about you, and you just have to be able to push through it. I don't know. This video is all over the place. I just kind of want to talk about it, give you my 2 cents. You let me know what you think. How do you feel about people who have never played pro having opinions or talking about how to play the game at a high level? Put it in the comments, so I want to know what you guys think. Either way, I understand both sides of the perspective, but yeah, I just wanted to shoot this out there, man. So if you enjoyed, make sure to drop a like, and I'll see you all in the next one.